Have you ever noticed that some people always seem to be one step ahead? Not just lucky, not just smart, but consistently positioned where opportunity happens to knock, where doors open, where the tide always seems to carry them forward, not backward. You watch them, and it feels almost unfair. How do they do it? What's their secret? The truth is, advantage doesn't come from being the loudest, the fastest, or even the strongest. It comes from understanding the game when others are still learning the rules. Let's start with something uncomfortable. Most people move through life reactively. They respond to events. They wait for things to happen and then try to adapt. They hope for better circumstances, for a change of luck, for someone to notice their effort. But those who always gain the advantage, they don't wait, they don't rely on hope. They shape the situation before it shapes them. They step into the room already knowing what they want, and more importantly, what everyone else wants too. To gain advantage is to gain clarity, about people, about systems, about yourself, and that begins with the most important discipline, observation. While the world chases speed, the truly strategic ones slow down to notice. They see the dynamic unfolding between people. They pick up on the tension behind a smile, the hesitation in a handshake, the insecurity hiding behind confidence. They watch patterns, not just events. And because they watch, they anticipate. And because they anticipate, they control the tempo. Control isn't about dominance. It's about rhythm. The one who controls the rhythm of a conversation, of a negotiation, of a relationship, controls the outcome. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus taught that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Which means if you can master your judgment, your perception, you can master the field you're playing on. You can create space where others feel pressure. You can remain silent where others speak too soon. You can observe where others rush to act. And in that calm, you find leverage. But leverage only matters when paired with timing. Getting an advantage isn't just about seeing more, it's about knowing when to move. A good move at the wrong time is still the wrong move. So those who always win learn patience. Not passivity, strategic patience. They let the other person overextend. They let the opponent speak first. They let the situation unfold a little longer than comfort allows. Because they know, most people reveal their weaknesses when they're trying to hide them. Most people talk too much when silence would have protected them. In every room, there are invisible games being played. Social games, power games, games of perception. If you walk into that room needing to be liked, needing to be validated, needing anything, you've already lost. Need is visible. It leaks. People smell it, even when you think you're hiding it well. But if you walk in centered, knowing who you are, needing nothing, you suddenly become the one with gravity. People lean toward you. They wonder what you know. They sense that you see something they don't. This is the unspoken power of self-containment. The less you need, the more you have. The more you chase, the more it escapes you. This is not just poetic, it's tactical. In negotiation, in love, in conflict, the one who wants less always holds more cards. Because they can walk away. And in life, power often belongs to the one who can walk away. So if you want the upper hand, become someone who doesn't beg, doesn't plead, doesn't explain. Speak little. Act precisely. Let others wonder what you're thinking. But advantage isn't only psychological. It's practical. Those who always win prepare more than others do. But they do it quietly. They don't announce their effort. They sharpen their edge in the dark. When others scroll, they study. When others party, they plan. When others react, they rehearse. So when the moment comes, they look effortless. And people confuse that for talent. But it's not talent, it's architecture. Invisible effort that creates visible outcomes. And yet, even all of this would mean nothing without one more thing, detachment. If you're desperate to win, you won't. You'll be too emotional, too rigid. You'll cling to outcomes. But those who truly hold power are flexible. They don't fight every battle. They walk away from most. They play the long game. They understand that sometimes the greatest advantage is to let someone else feel like they've won, while you've quietly taken what really mattered. Not pride, not applause, but position, influence, access, peace. So ask yourself, where in your life are you moving without clarity? Where are you reacting instead of positioning? Where are you giving away your power by speaking too much, needing too much, acting too soon? You don't need more charm. You don't need to impress anyone. You need to become unreadable, unshakable, still. When others move emotionally, you move strategically. When others react, you prepare. When others grab, you wait. That's how you always gain the advantage, not by pushing harder, but by seeing deeper. And once you do, once you start to live with this kind of awareness, this kind of restraint, this kind of power, you'll realize, most people are easy to predict. And if you can predict, you can prepare. And if you can prepare, you can win. Again and again and again. You gain the advantage the moment you realize this. Most people don't really know what they're doing. They're improvising, guessing, following others, hiding their confusion behind confidence. And the world, for the most part, rewards the appearance of certainty more than the substance of it. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you take the time to truly understand, truly prepare, truly think, quietly, consistently, you will stand out like a lighthouse in a fog. The man with a plan, even if imperfect, always looks like a leader among the lost. Because most people are not guided by principles. They're guided by moods, by hunger, by insecurity, by ego. But if you walk into life with principles, if you know your values, if you train your mind to be immune to temporary noise, then you cannot be manipulated. You can see through the games, the flattery, the threats. And that clarity is power. Think of life as a chessboard. But unlike chess, most people are only playing checkers. They go forward, one move at a time, jump when it's obvious, panic when it's not. But chess players, real strategists, they plan several moves ahead. They don't just ask, what do I want right now? They ask, if I move here, what will they do? And what will I do after that? You always gain the advantage when you stop thinking in moments and start thinking in arcs. Stop thinking in reactions and start thinking in consequences. There's another principle: never make decisions from a place of weakness. Fear makes you settle. Anger makes you say too much. Loneliness makes you choose the wrong company. Impatience makes you agree to terms that will suffocate you later. That's why those who win most often don't just act fast, they also know when to pause. To wait, to let emotions pass before choices are made. Because emotion may win battles, but clarity wins wars. What is clarity? It's the ability to see things as they are, not as you wish they were, not as they were yesterday, but exactly as they are now, without narrative, without fantasy. This is rare, because most people don't look for truth, they look for comfort. But those who want advantage, they go straight into discomfort. They study the uncomfortable facts. They ask hard questions. They confront their own weaknesses before others do it for them. A man with clarity can't be rushed, can't be baited, can't be tricked. He's seen the angles. He knows the pattern. And when he acts, it looks like instinct, but it's not. It's design. Years of watching, years of learning, years of sharpening a mind that others left dull. But don't think advantage is always loud or visible. In fact, most of the time, it's hidden. It's the conversation you didn't have, the insult you didn't answer, the fight you didn't start, the opportunity you passed on because it smelled like desperation. True advantage isn't about always doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it with precision. It's knowing where to cut, what to remove, when to disappear. There's a silent kind of confidence that terrifies people. It's the confidence of someone who doesn't explain themselves, who doesn't overshare, who doesn't compete for attention. Why? Because they already know who they are. And when you know who you are, you stop needing people to agree with you. You stop chasing approval. You stop trying to win arguments, because you've already won the inner war. Seneca wrote that power over oneself is the highest form of power. And that's what it all comes down to. If you can rule yourself, your impulses, your fears, your mouth, you can rule anything. The person who cannot be provoked is the most dangerous one in the room, because everyone else is predictable. But you've made peace with silence. You've made peace with walking away. You've made peace with losing the short game to win the long one. Let others play to be liked. Let others beg to be seen. Let others scream for validation. You are studying. You are building. You are becoming something no one sees, until it's too late. Now let's speak plainly. Sometimes the path to advantage is ugly. It means saying no when it would feel good to say yes. It means not calling back, not reacting to bait, not giving in to what the crowd is doing. It means staying up late while others sleep, letting go of comfort, walking away from people who drain you, no matter how long they've been in your life. Because advantage does not come from comfort. It comes from choosing discomfort intentionally, so you grow sharp where others grow soft. It's also about not trying to win every moment. That's the mistake of amateurs. They want to prove something every day, but the ones who win in the end, they don't care about temporary losses. They play the long game. They're not trying to win the argument, they're winning the influence. not trying to dominate the room, they're watching the power shift, waiting for their turn to move when it truly matters. And when that moment comes, they don't hesitate, because they've been ready. While others entertained themselves, they trained. While others talked, they observed. While others consumed, they created. So when the spotlight comes, they don't blink. Most people aren't dangerous. Not really. They're loud, they're reactive, they're addicted to attention. But someone who doesn't need attention, someone who is silent, calm, prepared, and willing to walk away from anything, that person is rare. That person is powerful. That person always gains the advantage, because they don't need it. And ironically, that's why they get it. The ultimate advantage is this: to be unshakable in a world that's constantly shaking. To be rooted when others drift. To be silent when others shout. To see clearly when others see only noise. To move with purpose while others chase approval. If you want that kind of power, you have to earn it. You have to watch more than you speak. Think more than you react. Move less, but with more intention. You have to learn to stand in chaos and not flinch. To be underestimated and not explain yourself. To be overlooked and still prepare in silence. Because eventually, the world will come looking for someone like you. And when it does, you'll be ready. People ask, what should I do to gain an edge? But they're asking the wrong question. The real question is, what should I stop doing? Because advantage often comes from subtraction, not addition. From letting go of habits that keep you small. From silencing the internal noise that makes you rush, compare, justify, beg. Power isn't something you always add. Often, it's what remains when you strip everything unnecessary away. Let go of the need to be understood. That's the first chain. Most people are slaves to the feeling of being misunderstood. They explain themselves too much. They try to prove their worth. But those who move with quiet force don't waste time doing that. They let results speak. They let actions speak. They let stillness speak. When you're calm while others defend themselves, you stand apart. You become the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, doesn't crumble. That's power. And people feel it, even if they can't name it. Let go of the impulse to respond to everything. Silence is strategy. Let others reveal themselves. Most people talk too much. They give away their insecurities, their desires, their pain. But when you say little, you leave them guessing. You control the narrative simply by not participating in it. That makes you unpredictable. And unpredictability is power, because what can't be predicted can't be controlled. Another truth: you don't need to compete with everyone. That's a trap. Constant comparison is noise. It distracts you. It steals your clarity. The one who always gains the advantage is too busy creating to compete. He's not trying to outrun others. He's building his own lane. He's not measuring success by applause, followers, money, or titles. He measures it by depth, peace, mastery, direction. Advantage isn't external, it's internal. The sharpest weapon is the mind that knows where it's going. Everyone around you is rushing, panicking, reacting. But you slow the game down. You choose. You calculate. You see 10 steps further because you're not emotionally entangled in what's happening right now. You've trained yourself to see the landscape, not just the next move. And that brings us to another principle. Never let short-term emotion destroy long-term position. Anger feels powerful, but it's a trap. Ego wants revenge. Pride wants to prove something. But true power is in restraint. When you can destroy someone, but you don't. When you can win the fight, but you choose to disappear instead. Not out of weakness. Out of control. That's when you stop playing on the board, and start owning it. Most people want quick wins. Easy battles. Flashy moments. But the one who always gains the upper hand doesn't care about moments. He cares about momentum. He stacks small, silent wins, daily disciplines, private preparation, quiet sacrifices. He doesn't need credit, because he knows what's building underneath will one day speak louder than anything he could say now. There's also the matter of endurance. People think advantage is about being the smartest or the strongest. But often it's about being the last one standing, outlasting the noise, outlasting the criticism, outlasting the self-doubt, the loneliness, the silence. Most people quit when things get quiet, when applause stops, when attention fades. But those who always rise, those who build real power, they embrace that silence. They use it. They become immune to the need for validation. That's why they don't burn out. They're not trying to impress. They're not running on other people's energy. They're running on clarity, on principles, on the quiet fire that doesn't flash, but never dies. You'll see them succeed and think it happened overnight. But it didn't. It was built in the dark, forged in invisible hours. Every moment calculated, every step intentional. People mistake activity for progress. But motion without direction is chaos. You don't get the advantage by doing more, you get it by doing what matters. By cutting distractions, saying no, protecting your energy. Most people are busy, few are effective. Advantage goes to the one who can focus. Because in a world of noise, focus is a superpower. Let me tell you something important, the world rewards the rare. If you're like everyone else, reacting, chasing, panicking, then you'll get what everyone else gets: fatigue, confusion, mediocrity. But if you can be different, if you can be silent when they scream, patient when they rush, grounded when they tremble, you'll be treated differently. You'll be trusted with more. You'll be handed keys they'll never even know existed. And the greatest irony, once you stop chasing advantage, it starts chasing you. Because people want to follow someone who isn't desperate to lead. They want to trust someone who doesn't beg for their trust. They want to work with someone who doesn't need them, but still chooses them. That's the paradox. That's the power. So what should you do now? Stop playing small games. Stop fighting for crumbs. Stop explaining your vision to people who've never seen one. Stop reacting to people who don't matter. Instead, train, read, write, build, reflect, become. Not for applause, not for attention, but for power. Quiet, real, unshakable power. You don't need to announce your presence. Just move like someone who knows where they're going. Speak like someone who isn't trying to be liked. Decide like someone who's already counted the cost. You don't need to win every argument. You need to know you could have won, and still chose silence. That's how you own yourself. And the one who owns himself, eventually owns everything else. It begins with you. Your energy, your attention, your discipline, your peace. Most people sell these for cheap. Don't. Guard them like a king guards his kingdom. Because they are your kingdom. They are the roots of your power. And once you build from within, once you train your mind to stay quiet, calm, and sharp when the world goes loud and weak, there's nothing you won't be able to do. You'll walk into rooms differently. People will feel it. They won't know what it is exactly, but they'll feel that presence. The steadiness. The grounded force of someone who doesn't need anything, who sees through everything, and who is always, 2 moves ahead. There's something magnetic about a person who no longer plays by the world's emotional rules, who isn't flattered by compliments or wounded by insults, who doesn't need to respond just because someone is watching. That person has an advantage not given, but earned through years of choosing awareness over reaction, stillness over noise, strength over drama. This is what most people miss. They think advantage is about being on top, being dominant, being seen, but real advantage, it's invisible. It's silent. It's the way you sit calmly while others shake. It's the way you make one precise move while others make 10 sloppy ones. It's not about being the storm. It's about becoming the eye inside it. That's why the ones who consistently win don't chase victory, they chase mastery. They know success without mastery is fragile. It cracks under pressure. But mastery, it holds. In silence. In failure. In chaos. And the only way to master something, whether it's your craft, your emotions, or your life, is repetition. Relentless, deliberate repetition. Everyone wants the results, but few are willing to embrace the routine that creates them. And that's why most never gain the real advantage. Because the real advantage isn't exciting. It's boring. It's habits. It's doing the work no one claps for. It's sitting down to think while others scroll. It's turning off the noise, closing the door, and building in silence. Over and over and over again. It's what you do when no one's watching that decides what happens when everyone is. There's no magic moment, no single breakthrough, no secret formula. There's only this: are you building or are you drifting? Are you sharpening or are you dulling? Are you rising or are you waiting? The people who always gain the advantage don't wait for opportunity. They prepare for it. They prepare so well that when it finally arrives, it feels like destiny. That's what most people call it: luck, fate, talent. They look at the results and assume magic. But the truth is simple. If you take care of the foundation, the future takes care of itself. And if you take care of your mind, everything else follows. This is why Stoicism teaches that your mind is your fortress. Your decisions are your sword. Your focus is your shield. Protect them, because no one else will. In the end, advantage doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing yourself. Deeply, honestly, brutally. Knowing what tempts you, what weakens you, what throws you off balance. Knowing where you break, and reinforcing it before life tests it. That's why your greatest strategy is not to manipulate the world. It's to master the one thing you control completely, your own mind. Most people never go there. They fear their own silence. They run from introspection. They distract themselves endlessly, hoping their flaws won't catch up. But they always do. And when they do, it's not the world that beats them, it's themselves. Their fears, their impulses, their illusions. So if you want to be truly unstoppable, start there. Clean your internal mirror. Strip away the lies. Face your shadows. Because you can't conquer what you won't confront. And when you do, you'll move with a kind of grace others can't fake. A kind of calm that makes people listen. You won't need to raise your voice. You won't need to force outcomes. You'll simply act, and the world will move accordingly. That's influence. That's presence. That's the edge that no one can copy, because it was built in places no one else dared to go. You'll see the manipulation and not flinch. You'll feel the pressure and not rush. You'll recognize the game, and choose whether or not to play. You'll watch others fight for status while you build substance. And while they exhaust themselves trying to be seen, you'll quietly become undeniable. But don't misunderstand, this path isn't easy. It's lonely. It requires solitude, discipline, patience. You'll lose people. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be mocked for doing things differently. But eventually, they'll all ask you how you did it, how you stayed so calm, so clear, so far ahead. And you'll smile, because you'll know, you didn't chase the spotlight, you became the fire. The truth is, advantage is not something you stumble upon. It's not a lucky break or a gift someone hands you. It's something you build, slowly, deliberately, with every thought you control, every reaction you withhold, every hour you invest when no one's watching. It's not always glamorous, but it's always worth it. Because when everyone else breaks, you bend. When they collapse, you adapt. When they panic, you plan. When they chase, you wait. That's how you become unshakable. That's how you stay ahead. Not by doing what everyone else does faster, but by doing what they're too distracted to even notice. Choosing silence over noise. Depth over attention. Mastery over applause. So if you want to always gain the advantage, here's your blueprint. Stop needing. Stop rushing. Stop reacting. Start thinking. Start noticing. Start building. Become the person who sees before others act, who understands while others assume, who prepares while others hope, who endures when others quit. You don't need more luck. You don't need more talent. You don't need more motivation. You need more clarity, more stillness, more commitment to what actually matters. And if you give yourself that, if you start now, today, in silence, you will find yourself ahead of the curve before the world even realizes there is one. In a world full of noise, be the calm. In a world full of doubt, be the clarity. In a world full of chaos, be the strategy. Because that's what advantage really is. Not winning every time, but being the one no one sees coming. The one who doesn't panic, doesn't beg, doesn't break, just rises, over and over again.